All right, we should be live now. I think we are good to go. Kind of messing around a little bit this morning instead of racing. Thought it might be fun to try commentating on the B race. Kind of messing around a little bit this morning instead of racing. Thought it might be all right to try commentating. All right, this should be fun. Let's see, I gotta share out the stream. One 127 riders in the group. That's crazy. I think that might be the biggest BCAT we've had, at least at the 7 a.m. time slot. One 131 riders. Sorry, folks, I'm not used to actually setting up live streams, and I'm not even sure this is going to work because my internet provider likes to blow up right when I need them. Anyway, I wanted to give the bees a little bit of love this morning. Oh, where's Mies? I want to get on Mies, but he's so hard to pick. Tom Mies is a rider that I've raced with a lot. Very experienced Zwift racer. So he'll be fun to follow. There we go. Got 131 racers in this crazy event. So he'll be fun to follow. There we go. One guy's asking, shouldn't we have a power-up already? Yes, you should. If you don't, that means, once again, Zwift's power-up stuff isn't working. This drives me crazy. It appears that the event was configured correctly to give power-ups at the arches, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gives the wrong power-up. It's too bad too, because I really wanted power-ups on this particular stage. So they're riding the volcano flat, but it ends right on top of what I call the Dirty Sorpresa, which is the little twisty dirt climb up to the Italian villas. And I had assigned the steamroller as the power-up for it, because I thought it would make it interesting to force everybody to time their power-up just right. But it was not meant to be. There we go. Give my camera a little bit of a better balance. All right. If you're not familiar, the concept behind these tiny races is 4 races within an hour. So all the races are like 5-6 kilometers long a piece, which means most of them take 8 to 10 minutes to complete, depending on the category. So the idea is that you get really hard efforts. You know, you're packing in basically kind of a VO2 effort, 4 of them in an hour, just a different kind of racing. And then you kind of get to rest in between. There's a few minutes of a break usually, sitting in the start pins, bantering after the race ends. So you'll see that happen as well. All right, this is where the fireworks begin. They've only got a few hundred kilometers left. This is the Dirty Sorpresa. So now guys are just going to start sprinting up this thing, blowing it up. These are points races, so you're accumulating points based on your finish position, and the person with the most points after the 4 races is the one who wins the overall. Look at that. Look at all those orange numbers. Oh, Allie from Dirt's in here. Allie's super strong and super smart. Very experienced rider. We'll keep an eye on Allie. I've raced with him a lot. Monoloa's in there as well. That's an interesting one. So I can't see the finish line when I'm watching other people's screens. It's the joy of Zwift's lack of a broadcast tool for the everyday Zwifter. Let's see if there's a way I can see the results, maybe on the companion app. Yeah, I realize it's a pretty underwhelming stream, huh? Let's see here. Yeah, go away, companion app. Okay. So the bees, wow. These races are so fast. Seaholes from Watt Fabric got first place. So that whole race took 7 minutes and 21 seconds. Monolo from OTR, who's always a strong contender in these. He got fourth. Ali got fifth. D. Kamer in third. I. Shun in second. Just looking down the list to see if there's some names I recognize. Meese got 14th. And 21 riders have finished so far. So heart rate is required in these. You don't get a result on Zwift Power if you don't have heart rate. Eventually, hopefully, we can use some Zwift hardware restrictions and not let people into the race unless they've got heart rate hooked up. That's all part of just trying to make it more fair. Probably won't let any Z Power racers in either, because at this point in the game, if you're on Z Power, I think the thought is you're just not taking racing seriously enough. So we're not gonna we don't need to bend over backwards to let you in. So usually this is the time slot that I race, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. my time slot. But today I wanted to go do a long ride around our local lake. It's about a 3.5 hour ride. And I learned from personal experience that trying to do a long ride after doing tiny races is a terrible idea. I destroyed myself early on. I think it was maybe the second week of the tiny races. Actually, might have been the first week. I attempted to do that and my body said no. I've never had leg cramps, even close to as bad as I had for that. Let's see here. Pull up. Pull up with power. Look at who won. So there's 3 time slots for this. They're 6 hours apart. Yeah, 6 hours. So one's at 1 a.m. my time, the other's at 1 p.m. my time, and then there's a 7 a.m. my time. That translates to 8 a.m. UTC, 2 p.m. UTC, and 8 p.m. UTC. Anyway, so the first slot, that 8 a.m. UTC, gets a whole lot of riders. I think it's typically the biggest. In fact, so I was going to look at the numbers. Yeah, it's the biggest. Just a little bit bigger than the middle time slot, the one we're watching right now. Anyway, the A's, let's see. Yeah, the A's are names I don't recognize, the 3 winners. Jeffrey Milor from the Sign team. Man, he got 2 first place finishes. It's impressive in the A's. Johannes Randrop Kiedling for Fusion got 2nd. Anders Christensen from DZR got 1st in the Bs. Snowy Pruitt got 2nd in the Bs. Snowy's guy I raced with my first few seasons of ZRL. He's from South Africa, as I recall. He's a good guy, super strong. And then Chris Benham from Vision got 3rd in the Bs. C race. So this is that early time slot. Christoph Fitzia from Dirt, another Dirt teammate, got 1st. Franz Jupe from Evolution got 2nd. Julia Volkman got 3rd from Crushpod. Julia. Nice work, Julia. Nice job for a lady to get third overall. I think that's the highest finish that I've seen for a lady in the tiny races. And then Evan Pluhek got first in the D's. Sandra, another lady, got second. And Chris Selby got third. Anyway, yeah, really good turnout. it appears that there's people heading indoors doing more racing, because I think this might be the biggest week yet for these tiny races. And I think they're going to get crazy big in a month or two. It's going to be wild, folks. Let's see. Results. Zwift Power results for the race that just happened. All right, kicking off our second race. This one's on the mountain route, which is the route that takes you up the Epic KOM in a forward direction. But again, this is a tiny race, so we're definitely not going all the way up the Epic KOM. This one ends, you ride up just the beginning of the climb, so there's kind of a twisty, really steep bit right at the start, and then you start to go across the bridge. There's the bridge with really big towers on it, and it ends right at that first tower. So this one's going to require more, a longer punch than the race that we just did. The race we just did is about maybe a 40-second effort on that dirt. Really probably a 30-second effort. But this next one's, I don't know, it's probably 70 seconds or so. Maybe even longer. It's a bit of a climb. We'll say minute and a half. It's gonna hurt though, no matter what happens. 125 riders in this race, so we lost 6 of them. They couldn't hang on. Review doesn't work real well here, does it? I so badly wish that Zwift would make it easy for people to observe races and commentate on them. I think it'd be so much more fun to be able to just click in and watch a race easily. Like if you got to the homepage and there was a list of races that were currently going, and you could just click to watch it. But I understand that's not a development priority. It would obviously be a pretty small number of people that actually do watch them, but I think it would also increase the number of people watching races, especially if they could figure out a way to get commentary in there. If you could choose, if people could commentate on the race and you could choose which stream you wanted to listen to, that'd be fun. I should take some photos. Let's do this. Chris Haltel, the guy that won the first race. The guy asks, "Where does this end?" He writes, "Hell." I love it. I love it when people don't know where these races end and everybody heckles them for it. Gives them funny answers. I like to give totally nonsensical answers too. When the race begins and someone asks, like it's a 20-kilometer race and someone asks how long it is, I'll tell them, well, it's a 100-kilometer race. Be sure to pace yourself. Take some shots. It's always good to have some good screenshots. I've been writing about each week's races on Zwift Insider, kind of summarizing them. So having a screenshot or two is always a good thing. Already starting to stretch out. Just little climbs, putting the herd in. Here's Aishun, who got second overall. We'll stay on him. Stay on him despite his disgusting lack of socks. We'll see if he paces this well. Here's the start of the climb. About 700 meters left at this point. Check out Shun. Shun appears to be pretty strong. Worked his way to the front. Now he's almost on the front. This one, you gotta have the watts per kilo. There's no way around it. Kasky's here too. I've raced with him some. He's a strong guy. Not a sprinter. He's better at like 1 minute, 2 minute power. Monolo, Shun. Yeah, this is the competition. Holtz is in there too. From Watt Fabric, the guy that won the last race. So the finish is right at this tower, this first tower here. Ah, look at Shun. Nice work. Take a photo of that. It's too bad you can't see the finish line. Oh, here comes Holtz though. Timing it. Nice. Holtz takes a second win. Shun gets a second place. Ali looks like came in fourth. Wow. Ooh boy. Kinda glad I'm not racing this one. One interesting thing about these races is you want to get into the pens really quickly. because, well, at least if it's a popular race like this one is, because you've got 120 people in here, and you end up being, you know, 10 bike lengths back if you don't get in the pens early. So it almost kind of it kind of punishes the slower riders as the race goes on. People who finish out of the front pack end up getting slated in the back of the pack for the next race, which actually I think is kind of cool. It's almost like a call up for the top finishers. You finish first, you can quickly pop in and be right in the front row. Seems like it should work that way. Congratulate the Well, so far the live stream is holding up. Probably because it's 7 a.m. here. There's not a lot of internet traffic from everybody else. In the past, the live stream been kind of hit and miss with our internet provider. Just kind of hangs up after a while. See, it keeps on working. I love the banter that happens in between races, because you usually have 4 or 5 minutes between each race. Everybody talking about how terrible it is. Classic cycling banter. This is terrible. Let's do another one. Anyway, yeah. I feel like their races are pretty good-natured. Dave Casey, I see your comment. Your biggest challenge is finishing each race before the next one starts. Yeah, if you're a D rider, I think some D riders have that challenge. I don't think the C's really do. The B's and the A's definitely don't. But I kind of think it's kind of cool, actually, to do it that way. It's almost like a time cut. I don't think really precisely about the timing for the D's. I just try to make it, make them around 5 or 6 kilometers. If it's got a climb in it, I make them even shorter. So I'm not thinking too precisely about it, but I do think it adds an interesting element, interesting challenge to it all. Now they're all razzing me because I'm not racing. Sitting on my couch in my bunny slippers. Yes, I am. I'm not ashamed. You can't shame me, Mies. explain to Ali how this is scored. Hey, Rick Winger in here from No Breakaways. Hey, Rick. Rick's a fun guy. Hey, Ollie. See you watching the stream. Good to see you. All right, 5 seconds away from the third race. Third race, so all these races today are on Watopia. That's the first week where we've done an all Watopia, all 4 races on Watopia. So this one is on the Seaside Sprint route. A route which holds a special place in my heart, because this is a former Rebel route. This is a route that I actually designed. My concept for this was I wanted a route that was a small loop that had a sprint in it that was on Watopia. Because there wasn't. There was no way to do a small, a short loop. So this was the shortest loop I could find. And the cool thing about it is you're always right next to the ocean, the virtual ocean. That's why I call it Seaside Sprint Route. It's I think the actual loop is 6.5K or something like that, but we're going to end before you even do a whole loop. We're going to end inside of the volcano, at the volcano arch. Seldom have I enjoyed winning less. That's a quote. That's the quote of the day. Yeah, the question is, did we get any power-ups this time? Oh, did get some power-ups, that's good. Writing down that quote, what Hotzel just wrote. Seldom have I enjoyed winning less. I think that encapsulates the spirit of not the spirit, but the feeling of tiny races quite nicely. Seldom have I enjoyed winning less. 131 riders in this one. That's interesting. So we're back to the same number that we had start. I really wish I could click on riders without them moving around so fast. Anyway, giving some ride-ons to riders that I know. Our riders right now are not on the front of this pack. They're sitting in this finish. This finish on the volcano is a really it's a tough finish. It's technical and challenging because it's got some rises. So you've got a kicker that kind of kicks it all off. And that's maybe a 15-second climb. And if you don't go hard on that, then you're done because the group's going to string out. So you got to go hard on the kicker, but then it flattens out and does kind of a twisty false flat thing to the finish, and it's really hard to time because of how the twists are laid out. It's harder to kind of see how far the finish is away visually. You can look at obviously you can look at how much distance you have left in the race on your HUD, but it's really something where you really have to know the finish. Give Wenger a ride on too, and using your power up at the right time is a good thing too. So I would say your aero power up, you don't want to use it on that first climb. You'll want to use it right near the end when you're really sprinting all out and speeds are high. Everyone should have used their aero power up already, because you got a second aero power up at that arch that we just went through. So the smart riders are going to use their power ups early so you get two. Really, this race shouldn't be too tough until the final 45 seconds or so, especially since it's the third race. I've found so far in these tiny races that the riders start to slow down, and the pack speeds before the finish get a little bit slower because the legs are starting to hurt. They're still moving along pretty good. I mean, we're at 47 kilometers per hour, so it's not bad at all. All right, let's take some screenshots. So now we're going down the Dirty Sorpresa. This is the one we rode up in that first stage, first race. Somebody attacking off the front. That's brave. Brave and a little early, but hey, kudos to you. Kudos to you for trying. You're not going to get away though. Way too many riders. Oh, pack is strung out. We got a gap forming in the back here. You can see in the mini map at the top right. Dropped a handful of riders. Riders still off the front. Let's see. Let's try to give them a little bit of TV time. If I can get to the front. Once again, need some broadcast tools. There we go. Sabrina from Crush Pod. Nice work, Sabrina. Impressive. There you go. Yeah. Show the dudes how it's done. I like it. She's hammering. But look at that. It's like a school of piranhas behind her. Oh man. Yeah, nice work, Sabrina. Good effort. Alright, this is where it's all going to kick off. We've got 500 meters left at this point. So here come the initial attacks on this initial kicker. But this won't be the main attack. Smart riders are going to hold back a little bit. See if I can find one of the favorites here in the rider list. You want to be near the front on this, but still out of the wind. So this is the group that's going to win right up here. This pack of maybe 30 or 40 in the front. There's Allie. We'll stay on Allie. Finishes at that arch right up the road. Look at that, holes and iShoon again. Oh, RF. It looks like maybe RF took it. But holes and iShoon were right in there too for a maybe second and third. Join the pins for the next event. See if we can get results for the race that just happened. pulling them up in the companion app. Brett Boniface just won first place for that race in the A's. So all I'm doing is looking at people's race results in Zwift Companion, people that I follow. Need to find a beat. Oh wait, that should be able to do it from here, maybe. Yeah. Oh, Aishun took first place. RF got second, and Holtz got third. So, man, it's gonna be a super close race between Schoon and Holtz, especially since Holtz just got third. Because that means, let's see here. Let's see, make sure my math is right. Yeah, that's gonna mean that they are tied. Schoon and Holtz are tied in terms of points going into this last race. Just confirm his finish positions for the other races. Yeah. All gonna come down to this. I like that. I'm gonna message everybody so they know. Wouldn't it be amazing if the actual game could show these points totals live? I mean, think of how that would change the competition. Close this window. It's shining in my face. There we go. Oh, that didn't help at all. There's that light coming. There we go. So 4 minutes to the last race. Tempest Fugit, flattest race that we've done so far in this whole series. So it's really going to come down to just pure wattage. It's not really a watts per kilo thing. It's going to be interesting to see how a flat race pans out. It won't be as not as exciting, I suppose,
Take me to the stars.
compared to the races that have some punchy climbs and twists and turns. But I figured that doing a flat race, you got to do a flat race, right? At some point.
Take me to the stars.
Yeah, I don't know what destroyed my legs so bad when I tried to do the long ride after the tiny races. I don't know if I got my hydration wrong or my electrolytes wrong, or if it was just because of the hard race effort followed by a long ride. My guess is it was some kind of combination of those. It wasn't a particularly hot day. I mean, it was warm and I was sweating, but it was bad. At one point, I stood up to try pedaling a little, and my right leg cramped up so completely, like my hamstrings and my quads and my calves cramped on that leg, and I thought, am I just gonna fall off my bike? Like I couldn't bend my leg at all. It was just kind of stuck in this slightly bent position. It was bad, really bad. And when I climbed off the bike, when I finally got home, I climbed off the bike, and as soon as my feet hit the ground, both my legs completely seized up, and I just had to kind of like waddle over to a seat, over to a chair. It's so painful too. Those big muscles, like your quads and your hamstrings, are huge muscles, and when those things seize up, oh, it hurts. Oops, got to click here. All right, last race of the day, folks. Race number 4. Again, just as a reminder, this is the tiny race series that Zwift Insider puts on every Saturday. 3 separate time slots. And the idea is you get 4 races finished within an hour. So they're short races. They're all 5 or 6 kilometers long, and they only last typically 7 to 10 minutes. And then you get a little break sitting in the pens, bantering a bit, and then you do the next race. So we're on the 4th race. This is an interesting day because looking at the finishing positions, there's 2 riders, Aishun and Hutzel. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his name. Sorry about that, buddy. But those 2 riders are currently tied for first place. So whoever of the 2 of them, whoever finishes highest, is probably going to take the win here, assuming that they finish decently high. So let's look at their numbers. Let's make this interesting. How about that? All right. Holzel. Chris. He's from Germany. Rides for Team Watt Fabric. So there's Holzel from Munich, and then Ishikawa Shun from Japan. So let's look at the numbers and try to decide who's going to take this win. So Holzel, 20-minute power. 20-minute doesn't matter, does it? Let's look at 15-second power. Wow, he's strong. 14.3 watts per kilo, 15-second power. 1,020 watts. So 1,020 watts, 14.3, and that compared to Ishikawa's got 13.95 watts per kilo, 850 watts. So Holzel has him outgunned both in the watts per kilo and the pure watts. Just barely in the watts per kilo though. So I'm going to give the edge to Holzel because he's got, I mean, according to Zwift Power at least, he's got an extra 150 watts of pure wattage. That's a lot. Let's look at their weights. I mean, Ishikawa is about 10K lighter, so he doesn't need quite as many pure watts. But I think pure watts are really what's going to matter here because it's such a flat race. Now, Holzel does have a teammate in here that I'm looking at right now, Jay Tino, Watt Fabric. Here's something interesting that could happen. What if they did some team tactics? What if Tino went off the front, let Holzel sit in? Not sure it's going to happen. Not sure that they're even, that they're even thinking that way at all. But that might be a fun thing you could see. The smart riders are definitely not on the front right now. Pack's moving along pretty good, 46 kilometers per hour. But there's no reason to be pinning it. There's no reason to be in the wind right now. See how Ali's doing. Ali got 4th in the second race, 8th in the third race. So I mean, Ali's up there too. Ali's gonna be a top 5, maybe even top 3. I bet overall. Ali's always a strong contender for sure. Ali's 1 minute power is really his biggest strength. So the question is he going to try to go early? Someone's got to go early. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to go Leroy Jenkins. Just send it out. We got about, oops, sorry about that. Accidentally clicked. About 2 kilometers left. So we're at the old the old ghost town. Way to go, Sabrina. She's still hanging in there. One thing, man, for the ladies, these are great races for improving your ranking score because they're so competitive. Fields are so big. If you can hang in there and get a decent finish, you can get a whole lot of points. Take some screenshots here. There's Sabrina again, crushing it. Crush Pod crushing it. A lot of people activating their band power-ups a little bit early. That's interesting. They're doing it that early. Why did everyone activate their vans? Why did so many activate their vans before the race actually finished? Unless this one's actually, unless I set the distance wrong on this. As far as I know, I didn't. Oh, interesting. I did. Huh. All right. Well, that was my mistake. So, okay, so that finish line was where I initially had placed it, and then I had gone and done some recon and changed, decided to push the finish line out more. But I apparently didn't update the length. So I had incorrect information on the Zwift Insider post. Oops. I think Shun must have won based on what everybody's saying. See if I can get a confirmation here. Oh, it says holes 1. This is the race 4, yeah. It says holes 1 and Shun got second. With, yeah, right behind him. That's a close race. Ali, what happened to Ali? Allie got 22nd. Man. Ollie, that's interesting. Hosted a race with a custom finish. Distance was supposed to end at the top of the KOM banner, but ended at the start. That's weird. I mean, I've found that the custom distances have always worked consistently for me. It's just whether I set them right. And it gets a little confusing when you start juggling events and distances and stuff. Yeah, I'm wondering, I mean, it sounds to me like you had it set to do a single lap instead of a custom distance. I don't know. It's tough with these custom routes because I have to go out and do test rides to figure out the precise distance. So usually early in the week I'll set the routes with kind of a approximate distance on them, and then I have to go do test rides and figure out what the actual distance should be. Then I have to go in and update the events a second time with the right distances. It's a pain. It's more of a pain than it should be. But once I've built up kind of a library of custom tiny race routes with their distances, it'll be really easy for me just to plug them in and kind of mix and match them. So now that we're on our, what is this? I think maybe our 5th or 6th week of this, 4 routes a week. So we've got 24 routes because we've done a new route every time. So got 24 routes. Maybe when we get up to maybe 50 routes or something, then we can just start mixing them up. It'll be fun. Well, it looks like my stream stayed together, so that's nice. But now it's time for me to head outside and put in a big road ride. So thanks everybody for watching. This was more of an experiment more than anything else. I realize I'm no Nathan Guerra when it comes to live commentating, and without any sort of impressive, useful broadcast tools on Zwift's side, the views you get of the game aren't that great either. But I wanted to try it out anyway and kind of give the bees some love, because I know when there is a live stream, it's typically focused on the A's. Come check it out. Vintage water bottle. And if you've noticed, it looks like Zwift is rolling out a new logo. So this is actually going to be 2 logos old now. It's going to be 3 Zwift logos. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.